My name is Denise, and I'm going to go through a short, gentle yoga sequence with you. This is something you can use throughout the week, maybe to start the week, maybe to get you through hump day, middle of the week, Wednesday, or just kind of celebrate Friday. So using this in your daily practice during the week, whenever is needed. So let's start on our backs. We'll set up our blocks towards the end of our mats, right by our feet area. So when it comes time to place our feet on the block, it's right there. So let's come to our mats. We'll take our feet towards the edges of our mat and then gently bring our knees towards each other. Take a moment here, coming into constructive rest. So your arms can be right alongside you. You can take both your hands to your belly, one to your belly, one to your heart, whatever feels right now. Take a moment here to arrive. You become present, feeling the ground under you. Your eyes can be closed or open, looking up at the ceiling, or in my case, the beautiful sky here with some clouds. So maybe taking a moment here and just going over your week so far. Just letting those thoughts come and then releasing them. Bring your breath, inhales and exhales through your nose. We're going to do a real simple, easy breath work exercise here while we settle into our practice. So being on our back is a lot easier to start your breath work exercise, because it's your front part of your body, especially your belly, is nice and open. So there's an allowance of your belly expanding and retracting. So on that inhale, your belly extends out, contracts, and inflates. So you can even bring one hand to your belly and just to experience that. Right? On that inhale, your belly expands and releases. So now, not only does your belly expand on that inhale, the side ribs expand gently, and notice that subtle movement, even the back ribs. When we get into child's pose, you'll feel it in your back ribs just a bit more. So continue the breath work here, feeling your belly expand, side ribs in the back, so your trunk is able to expand three-dimensionally on your inhales, and on the exhales, it releases back. So as you inhale through your nose and your belly expands, your diaphragm releases down and it expands as well. That's where you feel that expansion. So it's like our diaphragm's like an umbrella. So on that inhale, it expands out three-dimensionally. On that inhale, it releases back. So the more you inhale, the more your belly expands, the more your diaphragm releases out and expands, and the more oxygen your body intakes from your surroundings, from your environment. And we all know the importance of breath, oxygen, right? Helps us move physically, get through the day. It also helps us mentally, right? Keep that focus, that calmness. 2 more breaths here. Now if your eyes are closed, you can gently flutter your eyelids open. Taking your hands back alongside you, and 1 foot at a time, reach for your blocks and place your feet right on your blocks. You You can always bring your blocks closer to you or bring your feet closer together, whatever feels right. Remember, you don't have to stay frozen in your poses. You can always get out, adjust, and come right back in. So when you're ready, taking your legs side to side, moving with your own breath. And this is a really nice assessment of your hips, right? Some of us commute, have long commutes. We're in the car, we're sitting a long time, we have desk jobs. So it's nice to kind of like release our hips and kind of check out how our hips are doing. You can always hold one side or the other. We got one more on each side. So bringing your feet up off the mat, bringing them, several inches off the mat onto some blocks, kind of just brings a different sensory to your hips. So you feel a little bit different in the movements of your legs. All right, let's move the blocks out of our way. And then one leg at a time, let's bring our legs in towards us, wrap our arms around our legs, and just kind of gently rock side to side, releasing our lower back here. And another nice stretch we're going to do in our hips. We're going to come into a figure four, so release your left foot down to your mat, bring your ankle to your left thigh. When you're ready, take both your hands behind your left thigh, gently, slowly bring that leg in. And we're just going to start slow here, right? It's a gentle movement practice that we're doing today. So nothing too intense. And release. So release your left foot, unstack your right, make some movements in your legs. And then bring your left ankle to your right thigh. When you're ready, come into your figure four. Again, getting a nice stretch in our hips. So we're getting a stretch or release in the left outer hip, glute area. And release. Bring both feet back down to your mat. Make some movements in your body. So now let's extend both our legs out in front of you, in front of us. Take both our arms past our head. You can always keep a bend in your elbow if that feels better in your shoulders today. Let's just take a full body stretch here. So reaching through your arms, your fingertips, your legs, your toes. And then exhale, release. So from here, let's bring our feet back to our mat and then roll over to one side. We'll come up into a comfortable seated pose. Take a moment here, reset, readjust. So now let's take our arms out to the side above our heads. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more time, big inhale. It's like that morning breath, morning stretch. Let's release our left palm down to the mat. When you're ready, take your top hands towards the side here, getting a nice side body stretch. Inhales and exhales. You can always bring that palm closer to you for less of a release, less stretch. On the next breath, bring both arms up. Sneak in a stretch here. Exhale, release opposite side arm or hand down to the mat. When you're ready, release over to the side. The gaze can be up or down towards your mat, whatever feels right in your neck. On the next breath, bring both arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. So from here, let's take our right hand on our left knee. Then we'll take our left arm over our right, bringing it to our right knee. So no option here. You can keep your hands at your palms, or you can bring your hands towards your thighs, whatever feels good in your shoulders right now. So on an inhale, we're going to gently lift through our chest, bring our pelvis forward, coming into a gentle cow here. So there's a little curve in the lower back. On the exhale, we're going to release back, bring a curve in our spine, rolling our pelvis back, coming into cat. So we'll go through these a few times, moving through your breath. Inhales and exhales. So keeping that breath that we practiced earlier, right? That 3D breath. So taking that big inhale through our nose, feeling the expansion in our trunk, in our rib cage, three-dimensionally. We'll do one more. And let's keep connected at the elbows. We'll take our hands off our mat, or off our hands, off our legs. coming into eagle arms. So now option here, you can take to the tops, the back side of your hands. You can take your palms to your shoulders, or you can take the full wrap. Inhales and exhales. On the next breath, if you want a deeper stretch, you can always bring your elbows, your arms towards your legs. And then on the inhale, bring it back up. So you can go through this movement if it feels good in your shoulders and in your body. We got one more. On the next breath, take your arms out to the side, reaching as if you're reaching to the sides of the wall. On the next breath, release your hands down to your legs. Now we're going to cross our arms the opposite way. So we're going to take our left hand to our left hand to our right leg, and we'll take our right arm over our left this time. So when you're ready, moving through some cat and cows, getting that range of motion, that flexion in our spine, maybe imagining each vertebrae as it extends and as it flexes. Inhales and exhales, staying with your breath, that three-dimensional breath. We got two more. Last one. We'll come back to neutral spine. Stay connected at the elbows as you take your hands off your legs. Now remember, option, you can keep the tops of the hands together, palms to your shoulders, or take the full wrap. Settle in here. Remember, you can always wiggle around. Get situated in your pose. Now on the next breath, if you want to release your arms down towards your legs, you can. On that inhale, lift. So a few more of these. Remember, you can always stay idle. Just enjoying that stretch in your shoulders. We got one more. It will come in neutral spine. So let's unwrap our arms, take each hand towards the sides. Pretend like you're pushing the walls away from you. Exhale, release. Take a moment here. Maybe roll your shoulders out, make some movements. Let's take a big inhale. Take your arms out to the side above your heads. Exhale, hands to heart. One more time, and just notice, observe how your rib cage is feeling, that torso. Maybe more space. We'll meet with our hands at heart center. More space, more length, more space for your breath, for movement. All right, on our next breath, let's meet in tabletop. Let's take a moment here. So from here, let's release our hips to our feet. We'll keep our arms out in front of us, taking active child's pose here. So now if this is feeling good in your shoulders, your arms, perhaps crawling your fingertips towards the top of your mat. Inhales and exhales. You can always bring a block to your forehead if that feels better. And notice here, like I mentioned earlier, in your child's pose, when you take that deep inhale through your nose, feel that expansion in your back ribs, in your side ribs. Two more breaths. On your next inhale, let's make our way back up to tabletop. Take a moment here, maybe bend one elbow and then the other. So from here, let's move into some cat and cows. It's a little different from when we were sitting. So on all fours, quadruped, going into our cat and cows. So on an inhale, we're going to lift our chest, lift our tailbone, gently gaze up for cow. Exhale, arching your back, tuck your tailbone, release your chin towards your chest, coming into cat. We'll do this 3 more times on your own, just kind of noticing how the movement feels compared to doing sitting cat and cows. Imagine each vertebrae moving into extension and extension with the rhythm of your breath. We got one more. And then we'll meet in neutral spine. So from here, we're going to move into our low lunge. So let's take both our hands over to the left side of our mat. We'll take our right foot between our hands and then return our hands to each side of our foot. Let's use our blocks for some support. Now adjusting that back leg wherever it feels good. Now you can always stay upright in your lunge, right? Placing your hands on your front thigh. Or you can release your hips towards the mat using your blocks however they support you in your pose. So here, we're pressing into our front foot, really activating the front leg here. Strengthening the front leg as we stretch the back, the hip flexor, the quadricep. And imagine you're bringing your inner thighs together. So we're creating this really strong stability foundation here while we stretch. So we're not just dumping into our stretch. Take a moment here. Inhales and exhales. Soften your back, your shoulders. On the next breath, let's take our blocks with us. We're going to bring our hips back, coming to half split or runner's lunge, runner's stretch. Staying with our breath here, maybe even bringing our toes towards our shin, getting a deeper stretch in our calf. On the next breath, we're going to float back into our low lunge. So just bring that range of motion, that release in our hips, and bring it back. We'll do one more. We'll meet in our low lunge. And then, so now, let's release our blocks. Let's release our hands down to our mat. Bring our hands again to the left side of our mat while we bring our right leg back behind us. Take a moment here. Release your hips. Now doing low lunge on the opposite side. So bringing both our hands to the right side of our mat while we bring our left foot towards the top of our mat. Now we're bringing both our hands to each side of our foot. Return our blocks to wherever it helps support us. Set yourself up in your low lunge. You can always stay more upright, placing your hand on your front leg. So again, pressing into that front foot, really activating the front leg as we stretch the back hip flexor, maybe even the quadricep. You may be feeling it here. Imagine you're bringing your inner thighs together, creating that strong foundation. Inhales and exhales, soften your shoulders, your neck. Maybe even gazing around the room or around wherever you are, just kind of reminding your neck to release that unnecessary tension. On your next breath, bring your hips back, maybe along with your blocks, getting a nice stretch here in the back of our leg. And then again, let's float forward into our low lunge and bring it back. One more time, let's meet in our low lunge. Take a breath here. And then release your hands down to your mat. Bringing both your hands to the right side of your mat as you take your left leg back behind you. Coming back to tabletop, take a moment here. And then release your hips to your feet. This time, let's come into your child's pose. So bring your forehead maybe to the tops of your hands or even right alongside your legs. And notice, observe how your hips are feeling, how they released into your child's pose compared to the first child's pose we took. It's about observation, no judgment, just notice. Staying with your breath here, inhales and exhales. On your next breath, let's make our way back up. Let's return to our backs. Let's have a block handy. Before we move into Shavasana, we're going to move into bridge pose. So let's bring both our feet to our mat, knees are bent, arms right alongside us for now. We're going to press into our feet, lift our hips up, coming into bridge. Now option, you can stay here, making sure your thighs are parallel, they're not flared open, keeping your eyes, your gaze straight up, keeping your neck nice and long. So you can stay here in your bridge pose, or you can reach for your block, place it right under your sacrum. Feeling secured here before releasing your arms down to the side alongside your body. Take a moment here in supported bridge pose with our block. Inhales and exhales, still breathing. Don't hold your breath. Let it in. Let it out. It's nice to do yoga outside. You get to look at the sky, the moving clouds. All right, on your next breath, press into your feet. Lift your hips up. Remove the block from under you. Bring everything back down. Take a moment here, releasing into your mat, into the ground. Noticing, observing how your body feels after our bridge pose. And then one knee at a time, bring it on in. Wrap your arms around your legs. Squeeze your legs in towards your chest, getting a nice release in our lower back. And now moving into Shavasana, so extend your legs out in front of you. Taking your feet towards the edges of your mat and then releasing your feet to the edges, releasing your ankles here. Arms right alongside you, palms facing the ceiling. Your eyes can be open or closed. Taking a moment here, Shavasana is the pose of surrender. Surrendering any tension your body may still be holding from your practice. So allowing yourself to release, your mind and your body to release. Feeling the ground under you, feeling supported. So like I said in the beginning of our class, this gentle practice can be done anytime during the week, anytime during the day, when your mind and body just needs a little gentleness. Maybe first thing in the morning before starting your day, or what a nice way to wrap your evening up before bed. I invite you to stay here as long as your mind and body allows you to. I want to thank you for joining me for our gentle yoga practice. My name is Denise. Namaste.